What's up, everybody, and welcome to the PlayStation Forecast Episode 5. I am your host, Alex Derrickson, and I hope this week and this episode finds you very well. I am in a good mood. I am in a fantastic mood, one would say. I'm about 4 hours into God of War. I'm really excited to talk about it, 100% spoiler-free, but we'll get to that in just a minute because this is the PlayStation Forecast. It is your weekly deep dive and love letter to all things PlayStation that comes to you live on YouTube.com and podcast services around the globe on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Technically makes it not live. I don't know why I said live. Initially, the plan was to do the show live, but I'm not doing it live anymore. So it's live to tape, pre-recorded, it's preempted. It comes to you Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube.com and podcast services around the globe. And if you like what you hear and you want to hear another voice other than mine, you can get involved at psforums.pressxtoalex.com, where you can write in with any news, questions, comments, or concerns you would like to hear to have your voice heard. The show is entirely self-funded, so if you want to help support the show, if you like it, when you're on YouTube and you're watching it, click that subscribe button. Give me a little boost. Help me get this little project found here. And if you're listening, you on your podcast service of choice can write a nice little review, click those little 5 stars, hit subscribe. Like I said, it's only going to help me out. It doesn't cost you anything except a few minutes, maybe a minute and a half of your time if you type slow, and just a couple of button clicks. So thank you, as always, for joining me for another week. Thank you for the support as I've been doing this. It's been greatly appreciated. Like I said, if you want to help support the show and keep this mic and these lights working, all you have to do is subscribe, write a nice little review, and pick your podcast service of choice and support it there. Hopefully we'll have some more options available. Recently, the show has been added to Overcast, Podbay, Podcast Addicts, Pocket Casts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, and SoundCloud. SoundCloud gets it last unless someone wants to front me that SoundCloud money. I'm not going to have it where I can schedule posts. It's not worth it. It's $130 a year. I don't got that. But looking to add one more here soon. Hopefully we'll have some news about that next week. So God of War, that's what I've been doing. Like I said, I am about 4 hours into the game, so not too far. Maybe I've heard it's about 20, 25. So it's gonna be completely spoiler free. Just some early impressions because I'm not a guy that's gonna sit there and play a small percentage of a game and present to you some missive about why it's the best. It is the best in the franchise, hands down. But I'm not gonna go into this deep lore and tale to regale you with about why I think so. It should be pretty obvious. But I love, and we're gonna kind of touch on this, I think, as an analog and topic of the show. But Sony's ability to really double down on their AAA exclusives being the single player, no very limited DLC. It's not like in-game purchasing, about like single player story driven games. We saw it with Uncharted 4. We saw it with Horizon. We're seeing it with God of War. If you go back even further, you've got Infamous. You've got, The Last of Us Remastered, Killzone, The Order, fucking Knack. It's their focus on these kinds of games. I think really it creates a really good identity that I think is missing from, not. I don't want to say like Nintendo, but because Nintendo may have, I don't know, I would argue Nintendo may have blown their wad pretty early with the Switch, but what like a Microsoft lacks in its identity with the kinds of games that it's putting out, especially on the exclusive end of it. It's a very knowledgeable game. It's taken what a series has done well in God of War, and it's evolved it to a modern era of sorts. But you see bits and pieces, like kind of just sprinkled about from other games in the PlayStation Pantheon. Like it's got some light climbing, like Uncharted, where you're not going to improve a whole lot on Uncharted's wall scaling, but like it feels good, it feels natural. The camera is super tight in. It feels kind of like Hellblade. There is the little child companion in Atreus that's kind of reminiscent of Last of Us. There's the world exploring, with like Horizon. There's so many things from other Sony titles. Not to mention that it's just goddamn gorgeous. It is art inarguably like foot down, slamming the gavel. This is the best looking game on the console. It's the best looking game of this console generation. Uh, I don't even think that's a disputable fact. If you want to dispute me, you can. I'm gonna disagree with you, but politely and kindly, because we're all nice here. It's just an incredibly, just from the brief time I've had with it, because like I said, and it's a 20-25 hour game. I'm maybe four and a half in it. It's just a very well-rounded experience. The combat is almost airtight. Like, I've found very little issues with it. There's been a couple spots where like the frames drop and in some like not, I don't want to say cutscenes because there's no cuts. In the non-gameplay aspects, there's been some areas where the frames drop, but nothing really of consequence. Nothing that's detracted wholly from it. The game's commitment to the single camera shot has been stellar so far. I'd like to think it's only going to get better, but I can't recommend this enough. It is great, and the hype and the reviews and everything behind it leading up to the release has been nothing short of spectacular, and it has delivered. I mean, I wasn't nervous leading up to the release, but and you start hearing about game of the generation and things like that, it sets an awful high bar. And not saying that I'm picky, but it's also a game where, if I was disappointed, I don't want to feel like an outlier, I guess. But God of War, I can't recommend it enough. What Sony Santa Monica and Cory Barlog have done is nothing short of extraordinary, briefly, and for what I can speak to of this game. So if you're on the fence about it, I suggest you hop off the fence and get on the right side of history, and that is the side of history that is playing God of War. But that's about what I've been doing. I'm hoping to get it finished here before next week's episode. It's short term goal. We'll see how that plays out. But I have a few things kind of in the chamber that I want to play that I've been kind of putting off. So I want to see if I can't tick off a couple more boxes. But that's getting you caught up to me. So without further ado, let's get into the news. Kind of picking up where we left off last week, slowly as EA news or E3 news starts trickling out. Ubisoft's E3 conference has been unsurprisingly confirmed. This comes by way of Eurogamer. Publisher Ubisoft planted its flag for the E3 2018 today, confirming on Twitter that it will hold its annual pre-show briefing on Monday, June 11th at 1 p.m. Pacific Time, 4 p.m. Eastern. The company promises more details to come, but we already have a pretty good idea about what to expect from Ubisoft's E3 2018. One thing is for certain, Tom Clancy's The Division 2. Ubisoft confirmed its Division sequel earlier this year and promised more information on the game at E3 in June. We know very little about The Division 2 at this stage, other than that Massive Entertainment is once again leading development with its quintet of Ubisoft studios. So no surprise. The Division 2, I think they announced that, like at the start of the year, that was going to be at E3. Ubisoft's interesting because their conferences have always been good. I think they run about a half hour too long. There's a bit too much fat on that steak for me. But they roll out a few announcements. There's some that I'm going to get into my E3 guesses here, my prognostications, if you will. But I don't know. They announced a lot last year, including Beyond Good and Evil 2, which, if they're smart, I would think isn't gonna show up again, because that seems so much more like a down the pipeline project. Like, I almost felt like it was an FMV of just concept art. So we'll see on that one. I'd like to think that that's probably going to be a next generation game. I don't think they're going to hit that, because they were kind of just like, look, we're doing it. Here's a really good video. That's not gameplay. But they could be further along than we know. I don't know. They've got a lot of people working under their development umbrella. So it could be something that we see. I don't have it on my list. So what I have rattled off here is The Division 2. I think obviously, unless they just can the series altogether, which this money making machine, I don't think will be going anywhere anytime soon with Just Dance 2019. I think we're gonna see a new Splinter Cell. I think that's probably the worst kept secret on this whole thing. Just given the support that it's gotten through Wildlands and the like these little interviews with Michael Ironside, and uh, it seems like it's part of a bigger project. I think this was putting its feet in the water with the Wildlands content, just kind of making sure that there's a space for it, that there's people that wanted, there is this fan base that wants to see a new Splinter Cell game because it's something that we've been absent for a while now. Uh, so I think we're going to see a new Splinter Cell game. If I were to get ballsy, if you were like, look at the big balls on Alex, I'd say it's going to be an Xbox exclusive. I think that Microsoft needs an exclusive title. Whether Splinter Cell is it, I don't know. But if they wanted to try and lock one in, that's a good place to start. I think we're going to see a release window for Skull and Bones. I know it was initially last year, said it was going to be a Q3, Q4 2018. That game has been far too radio silent for me to even believe that by any fathomable stretch of the imagination. So I think it might be a summer 2019. Because like I said, I've been hitting this every week, right? The deeper you're getting into 2018, the closer you're getting to Red Dead Redemption 2. And at that point, that's going to be the closer your game's going to get just absolutely torn apart sales wise. And while critical reception is great, commercial success is what's going to merit whether or not you have a franchise. And if you're going to try and stack the deck with a new IP against a Rockstar game, you're going to lose. So I think that's going to be a summer 2019. I think we'll see a teaser from the Avatar game that they're working on. Not The Last Airbender, but the blue people with Sam Worthington. Maybe a follow up to Starlink. That's the No Man's Skylanders kind of game. That's gonna be. That's the one I'm most iffy about, surprisingly, just because Toys to Life has kind of just fallen so far since just in a year's time. If if there's no mention of Starlink at E3, I think Starlink is done, and they're just gonna kind of like put it out to pasture and not really bring it up again, kind of like retconning it in a way. But we could see more of it. I don't know. It seems like an interesting concept. I just don't know if there's room this anymore for Toys to Life games. They're gonna have to do something I think inherently different. The last thing I have written down is Transference, and that was the game with Spectravision, Elijah Wood's game studio that he started. It's the console VR psychological thriller. They revealed it last E3. Again, kind of like a lot of the games on here, have not heard much from since. You're probably going to see some Crew 2 announcements, but back to Transference. Haven't heard much since last summer, if anything, really about it. I know it's supposed to be a spring release this year. It's getting kind of close to June. Still not heard anything about it. So I don't know if that's gonna be one that it's just gonna get like stealth released, or if it's gonna be something that's maybe it's gonna be like, hey, this fall. So that'll be one to keep your eyes because it looks cool. I dug what I saw at Transference in terms of the trailer and everything. I'd like to see more of it. I'd like to know more about it. I don't know. I want there to be more games in the VR market, obviously, especially when there's like a console crossover because I want to play it. But those are my Ubi 2018 predictions. I'm sure we'll follow up with that at the end of E3 to see if I was right or wrong or wildly off base. But Ubisoft's having an E3 conference to the surprise of no one. Next bit of news is another Monster Hunter World update. See, this comes, I think I pulled this from the Monster Hunter site. It may have been from Eurogamer. It could have been, I think it was GameSpot, actually. I didn't write this one down. With the Spring Blossom Fest in the rearview mirror, a major new update for Monster Hunter World has arrived. PS4 and Xbox One players can now take on a new Elder Dragon, Kulve Taroth. Please give me some names I can pronounce, please. And that means there's new gear to get your hands on. Here's how to get the newly added armor and weapons, which are known as relics. In order to take on Kulve Taroth, you'll need to be at least a Hunter rank 16. While exploring the world, you'll begin to find new tracks which belong to Kulve. Find enough and you can take part in a new type of limited time quest called a siege. I cannot get control of this thing. Everyone in a single game session, up to 16 players, can join together to deal with Kulve. These players are split into groups of 4 to gather tracks and attack the Elder Dragon, specifically with the aim of breaking off parts. Breaking parts and gathering tracks add to a progress meter for the siege. The more progress, the better the rewards. Capcom specifically encourages players to try this in a multiplayer session. As per usual, when fighting a monster, this will unlock 2 new high rank armor sets at the Smithy. Kolveteroth A and Kolveteroth B. There's also a matching Palico armor set and weapon. Crafting them primarily requires materials you'll obtain through the fight, though you'll also need gems from other Elder Dragons too. Here are the skills you'll earn by equipping each piece. Helm, free element, ammo up, and agitator. Chest, stun res, and critical boost. Arms, free element / ammo up and power pro longer. Waist, free element and ammo up and handicraft. And boots, wide range and peak performance. While the armor and Palico gear side of all of this is very simple, weapons are much different. They're handled unlike anything else in the game to date, as you'll receive them as drops at the end of the siege. The quality depends on your reward level, which is dictated by the contributions made by you and your teammates, though you'll receive more from your squad mates. These are referred to as relics and have randomized stats, but otherwise operate as standard weapons, using the models for existing ones. The first instance of Kolveteroth Siege is available from now until May 3rd at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. On May, yes. So the siege was added as part of the broader 3.0 update, which you can read about at the on the patch notes at the actual Monster Hunter World site. I don't know a whole lot about Monster Hunter, as you could tell by the way I slowly butchered my way through that abhorrent reading of a press release, but I'm thoroughly impressed by Capcom's ability to keep its player base engaged in this title, and that's really what I wanted to hit on when I added this in here. We've seen it with a lot of like games as a service, with specifically Destiny 2, a little bit with Battlefront, and a handful of other games since then too. But there's been an issue with player retention. And what Capcom's been able to do by just keeping the content going, keeping it constantly churning out new things, new reasons to keep coming back. If you missed something, here's a reason you can come back and get what you missed. Capcom has done an absolute bang up job with this, with keeping this game relevant, keeping this game, in the gamers' eyes, and and in their minds too. Is if the game's out of sight, it's out of mind, and constantly bringing out new content to delve into, new gear, new weapons, new quests, the sieges, and everything like that is incredibly smart, because you want to have that player base engaged, and I think that's been an issue. Since we've seen a few publishers and developers stumble, so to speak, with, like I said, Destiny specifically. We'll just go with that one as the example. It kind of seemed like that was the games as a service zeitgeist game, where just everyone was Destiny 2, Destiny 2, Destiny 2. And then by December, it's kind of fallen off and no one's really talking about Destiny. So Capcom has been able to kind of keep a very engaged player base, constantly bringing out new things. So props to them. They've done a really great job keeping that game, just like I said, keeping it in the prominence, because that's what's going to, at the end of the day, keep sales up and everything too. So much love to the Capcom team doing Monster Hunter and making sure everyone keeps coming back to that game. Next bit of news, not entirely PlayStation related, but tangential enough that I kind of wanted to throw it in here. Valve has acquired Campo Santo. This comes from Polygon. Firewatch developer Campo Santo announced today that it is joining Valve. A blog post from the team expanded on the deal. Campo Santo's upcoming game, In the Valley of the Gods, will be released as a Valve game. The decision to join Valve came after a series of long conversations, according to the blog post, and the team will continue to work on the games they want to, but under Valve's umbrella. The blog post reads, "We had a series of long conversations with the people at Valve, and everyone shared the satisfaction we take in working with people whose talents dwarf our own to make things we never thought possible. Both sides spoke about our values and how, when you get right down to it, we, as human beings, are hard limited by the time we have left when it comes to making the things we care about and believe in. They asked us if we'd be interested in coming up to Bellevue and doing that there, and we said yes. Acquiring a developer like Campo Santo may be a shortcut to Valve making games again." Valve CEO Gabe Newell, that's the end of the blog post, by the way. Valve CEO Gabe Newell said the company is back in business of making and shipping games. Artifact, a digital card game similar to Blizzard's Hearthstone, is currently in development at Valve. Richard Garfield, the creator of Magic the Gathering, is helping to produce the game, which Newell said called one of, quote, the first of several games that are going to be coming from us. Campo Santo's blog post didn't include an update on In the Valley of the Gods. Campo Santo's second game will, quote, explore a remote and ancient valley in the Egyptian desert, uncovering treasure and treachery in pursuit of discovery that could bring you fame and fortune, or leave you for dead, buried beneath the sands, end quote. According to the game's Steam page, a Campo Santo representative confirmed that Campo Santo's game will not become PC exclusive under Valve and will still be created for all platforms. Great for Campo Santo. I fucking loved Firewatch. I actually wrote on my blog at pressxtoalex.com or just pressxtumblr.com, tumblr.pressxtoalex.tumblr.com. I don't know how these Tumblr links work. But I beat Firewatch year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. And I've thought about it, like, not quite once a week, but that's a game that crosses my mind very, very often. Definitely probably around once a month I think about Firewatch. I was so enamored with the art of that game. The simplicity, the minimalism, and how they delivered the story, which is the conversations between, two characters. Everything felt very human. And I was very, very excited for In the Valley of the Gods when they revealed that at the Game Awards, I think it was. I loved that trailer. It didn't do a whole lot, It kind of just briefly explained, like, hey, this is where you're going to be playing and what you're doing. But it looks cool. They're a development team that I'll just put my utmost faith in. I know a lot of people kind of like poo-pooed the idea of Valve acquiring them, but I think the thing that's kind of often forgotten is, the teams that were working on Portal and that were working on Team Fortress 2 and that were working, on Left 4 Dead and things like that. Those were teams that were acquired by Valve. And so if Valve wants to start making games, I think Campo Santo's a really good team to have, in your realm, in your workspace, because their debut title was great. I don't see why In the Valley of the Gods wouldn't be as good. They could be a whiff, but we don't know. If Valve's going to get in the market of making games again, that's only going to help everybody else. I think everybody was kind of hoping for, Half-Life 3 or like Left 4 Dead 3 or Portal 3, just make a third game in a franchise, Valve. But no, I think this is good for Campo Santo, and it's going to be good for Valve. I think they're going to support each other. It's going to be a one hand washing the other. I don't know. Not much else to say about that because I think In the Valley of the Gods is still really far away. But yeah, I don't think it's anything to worry about in terms of Valve maybe fucking something up or making Campo Santo, some Firewatch card game developer. Now, bit of news broke before I recorded this a little bit this morning, so I don't have it in my Google Doc of news here, so I got to switch over to the PlayStation blog. It's going to take me a minute to get this pulled up here. But Detroit Become Human has gone gold, and you will be able to play a demo. If you're listening to this or watching this, you can get on the PlayStation Store, and that demo from Detroit Become Human should be there. So this comes from Guillaume de Fondemer, the Quantic Dream co-CEO, on a post on the PlayStation blog. We are extremely pleased and proud to announce that today, after 4 years of passionate crafting, Detroit Become Human has officially gone gold. During these 4 years, we have gone through all possible states and emotions the development of such a challenging project induces. The pride of working on something special and unique, the doubt of attaining all our creative and technical goals, the hopes when publicly releasing scenes and trailers and seeing players' positive reactions, the fear of not having enough time and resources to make everything perfect, the joy of finally seeing all parts of the puzzle come together, scene after scene, and finally being able to play the game from start to finish. And today, I guess it is with a mixture of all these feelings that we stand in front of you. Detroit Become Human is no longer our game. Instead, it will soon become yours. Yours to play, to own, to hopefully cherish. The fate of Connor, Kara, and Marcus is in your hands, along with the fate of all other characters in the game. Through your decisions and actions, you will have the opportunity to become the writer, the director, and the main protagonist of the most branching story we have ever created. A story made of hopes, fears, sadness, but also of joy and happiness. A story as much about us humans as it is about androids. David Cage, the entire team, and myself are proud of the work we have accomplished during these 4 years. We're grateful to all our wonderful actors, composers, artists, and partners around the world who have lent their talent to making Detroit Become Human the very special experience it has become. We are also extremely grateful to our fans around the world. We have read all of your emails, all of your letters, all of your tweets and messages. Each of them has given us the inspiration to make the best possible game for our fans. Last but not least, we are extremely thankful to Sony and the whole PlayStation family for believing in us and enabling us to make our dreams come true. To celebrate this milestone and to help you pass the time as you hold on just a little while longer for the game's release on May 25th, I am extremely happy to announce that the very first scene of the game, Hostage, will be available for download on the PlayStation Store starting tomorrow, April 24th at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As part of the Hostage demo experience, there's also an extended Alexa skill, promptly named Cyberlife. The Alexa skill will provide you guidance and additional intel about the near-future android-filled world. As you take on the role of Connor, a hostage negotiator android sent to take control of the high-stakes situation, the Cyberlife skill will help guide you in your decision-making throughout the investigation process, while giving you a deeper look at the various characters involved within the hostage demo. It will also give you insights on how you can best alter your decision with the experience that could result in different ending outcome. With this, and it goes on to explain the Cyberlife skill, how to activate it, how to download it. You can read that on your own time. This isn't an Alexa podcast, but this is exciting, right? Like, we are just a week out, from God of War coming out. We're already moving on to the next, AAA. I mean, it's an XDev, but AAA game getting announced, or going gold. It's a good time to be a PlayStation fan. So God of War comes out on the 20th. 3 days later, Detroit Become Human has gone gold. That's great news. I'm super excited. If you have been on the internet between, I guess, like noon on Monday and today, you've probably seen some early impressions from people, because the first impressions embargo kind of came up. Some people went out to go check out the Hostage demo and get to play a few hours of the game. Everything has come back from what I've read, remarkably positive. A handful of things have just been like, this is their best game since Heavy Rain. If you loved Heavy Rain, you're going to love this. It seems like they may have kind of course corrected from the misstep that was Beyond. So it's exciting. I am very excited for Detroit. I love me a good narrative, like just juicy narrative game, right? I like the optional choices. I like having that replayability, that replay factor. It looks gorgeous. I actually initially was just going to talk about how it's I've started reading conflicting things, that it was native 4K, but then that it was checkerboarded. So either way, it's going to look really good. I think a lot of work has been put into that game, and I really think we're going to reap all of the benefits from it as PlayStation owners. If it's not your kind of game, that's fine too. You can check out the demo. Maybe it'll change your mind. So like I said, if you're listening to this or you're watching it, that demo is available on the PlayStation Store. It's the hostage scene from E3 2016. So I'm excited. I'm going to dive into it. So hopefully I'll maybe have some stuff up about that in the coming days. Moving on, this is a mishmash of news. There's three things in here that kind of is a confluence into the main topic. So I'm just going to rifle through these real fast. This comes by way of Eurogamer. Our good friends at Housemarque, their new game has been announced. The first game of Housemarque's post-arcade future will be Stormdivers, a multiplayer game. A very brief video was shown during Housemarque's reboot-developed 2018 Talk Today. The trailer shows a moody forest with some basic structures and a storm raging through it. Housemarque said Stormdivers began as a concept 3 years ago and has been in production for 2. It is multiplayer focused and made in Unreal, but the studio gave no detail beyond that. Let's see. Speaking with head of publishing Mikkel Haveri afterwards, and it sounds like Stormdivers will be a battle royale game. You can compare it to a lot of the multiplayer experiences you have now, Haveri told me, which I remarked sounded like Housemarque was doing a Fortnite game, a battle royale game. Quote, "That's a very good assumption," he replied. Right now, we're saying it is multiplayer. It is It is a very competitive environment, specifically with those types of titles. How can you even compete? We know what we do, and we've been making something for quite a while. Hopefully, it will be able to compete. PC and consoles are the focus for Stormdivers, probably one before the other to see if the game works first, and it could be released this year. So, this comes after Housemarque's kind of bittersweet blog post about how arcade is dead. So, if you're unfamiliar with Housemarque, they're the Dead Nation team, the Alien Nation, and more recently Matterfall. There's Super Stardust, Resogun, and then, like I said, more recently they'd released Matterfall and Next Machina, the Eugene Jarvis collaboration game, kind of on top of each other. Neither game sold to where I think they wanted or where they would actually have made a profit. And they released this blog post that was titled "Arcade is Dead." You can Google. Actually, if you just Google Housemarque, it's like the second post under Stormdivers announcements, uh, in terms of like Google results. And they kind of just talked about like this genre of game that we've been making and nurturing and creating is no longer successful for us. It's no longer making us money, and they were going to move to a multiplayer game. So this will be their first game removed from the arcade twin stick shooting genre. And it's interesting to go a step further. I don't want to touch too much on it before I move on to the next thing because there's like I said, there's three things here. This is an article from Polygon. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 won't include a traditional single player story mode, according to sources with knowledge of the project's status. The shift in creative direction will be Black Ops 4, the first mainline Call of Duty to ship without a standard campaign. When reached for comment, an Activision spokesperson said, "We don't comment on rumor and speculation. We look forward to revealing Black Ops 4 on May 17th." The sources who asked for anonymity said that as Black Ops 4's release date approached, it became evident that development on the single-player campaign wouldn't be completed. One source said Treyarch has since focused Black Ops 4 development on expanding multiplayer and the series' popular Zombies mode. The source described an emphasis on cooperative modes as a potential stand-in for the typical single-player campaign experience. The Black Ops series has been spearheaded by Treyarch since the original entry in 2010. The Call of Duty games, including Black Ops, are produced with support from other studios, including Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer Games, Raven Software, and Certain Affinity. The Black Ops series has featured an ongoing, largely praised story extending from the 1960s to the 2060s, mixing Cold War intrigue with not-so-distant future techno-paranoia. Black Ops 4 will make the series the longest-running sub-franchise in their Call of Duty series, surpassing the Modern Warfare trilogy. The tagline for Black Ops 4 is, quote, "Forget what you know," which speaks to the series' fascination with mind control, though perhaps it doubles down as a message to fans, encouraging them to reconsider what makes a complete Call of Duty game. So, uh, let's see. So, Activision is expected to ship one single-player campaign, and this year in the form of a remaster of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which Charlie Intel and Eurogamer have reported will be released within the original game's multiplayer component. So Black Ops 4 comes out in October. They're doing the reveal May 17th and then some extended reveals in June at E3. The big sub rumor from all of this was that in place of the campaign, so it'll be a Battle Royale mode. So it'd be Activision dipping its feet into what's popular, into the Hansel, into the what's hot right now. And that's all good and well. I don't know why you'd call it Black Ops at this point unless the campaign is released, as a DLC, as like a secondary thing, as something maybe like, hey, we finished it, here it is. I don't really know like what that's gonna do for them. I don't think a whole lot of people are like, I don't know what the heat mapping is on it, right? Where like I haven't played a Call of Duty game in a really long time, so I'm not sure how many people still play the campaign, how many people just buy them for the campaign. I know the Black Ops games were more revered for their campaign than some of the other Call of Duty series, like sub franchises. So if they're stripping the campaign out of it and maybe complementing it with a secondary release of the Modern Warfare 2 remaster, and then using the third pillar that would have been the campaign along with multiplayer and zombies mode to be a battle royale mode, we'll find out in about a month, less than a month. But I don't know. Call of Duty is not known for their map sizes, So I don't know if they're going to be able to do 100 players, and if that's the bar. If the bar for battle royale games, both through PUBG and both through Fortnite, are 100 players, if Activision and Sledgehammer and Ravens, or Treyarch and Ravensoft rather, come out and they're like 50 players and we'll have 100 by the end of the year, I don't know if that's going to move units. And then to stack on top of Housemarque and Activision, this also comes by way of Eurogamer. Battlefield developer DICE is currently testing a Battle Royale mode for this year's Battlefield 5. That's according to a new VentureBeat report, which cautions that the mode still does not have the green light for release, and regardless will now not make it in time to arrive at launch. Instead, that the mode will arrive as a free update if it does get the go-ahead. Plans are early, the report states, and the work could be pushed back or dropped completely, such is game development. That publisher EA and DICE are investigating a Battle Royale mode for the pair's biggest shooter franchise comes as little surprise due to the enormous popularity of the genre at present. So, at the time of recording this, right, we've got Activision, Treyarch, and EA and DICE, the two really the kings of the first person shooter, right? And that's gonna be one thing that separates them. We'll get into that in a second, but kind of starting to pine and push for that battle royale space that's so popular. And it was a matter of time before we saw a AAA movement towards battle royale. While you got to capitalize, strike while the iron's hot, and what have you. But we saw Rockstar kind of tease it with Grand Theft Auto. Whether it works its way into like a Red Dead Royale, I don't fucking know. But like I said, battle royale games are kind of the Hansel right now. They're very hot right now. Everybody wants to do one. There's mobile clones. It's transcending various forms of media. There's transcending genres. It's mainstream news with Fortnite. I don't know. It's starting to kind of feel like when your parents get into something and it's suddenly less cool. I don't know how much of a space, how much occupied space there already is, and how much they're going to be able to take from that, from what's already been established between what Epic has with Fortnite and what Bluehole and Tencent have with PUBG. With EA and wanting to kind of test it, maybe with DICE and rolling it out, I think it's more conducive for success for Battlefield, just given their map sizes. I think they could probably support the 100 players, and if it's not coming out at launch, if at all, I think it's going to be a better situation for them. But if Activision and Treyarch roll out and they're like Call of Duty Black Ops Battle Royale, but it's not 100 players and the maps are the same size, and there's been speculation that in test markets, or I guess in like play tests, the multiplayer for Black Ops has felt more similar to Overwatch or like a Lawbreakers than it has Call of Duty. So Call of Duty's situation right now kind of feels like a mess. I think the way the market is for shooters has shifted to the battle royale, standard, I guess. But with them having a first person game, that could be what sets them different, like what sets them apart or makes them different. Same with like EA and Battlefield and DICE trying to maybe jump in. But then you've got actually just a very good indie team in Housemarque that makes just sticky, solid, great games. One after the other. Yeah, Alien Nation was kind of a meh. There were some bugs in it. But like you look at Dead Nation, what Resogun was, even if they weren't commercial successes, Matterfall and Ex Machina were still very quality games. It's just the twin stick market's not thriving, So I don't know. I feel like the battle royale space is already crowded just with two games, and with Fortnite being kind of the king of the mountain right now. And once the AAA teams, the big money pits are going to start throwing money at that kind of game style, we'll see if it benefits. Like I said, the space could already be too crowded. It could already be too one-sided, and this could be a situation that we don't know how popular battle royale modes are going to be, because we're already seeing Fortnite deviate with it, where it's like, hey, it's 50 on 50 squads. We're going to do this sometimes. We're going to have, the 1v1, 1 versus 100, which would be great now, like a trivia battle royale. But having, kind of a revolving door of modes, whether it's even going to be a necessary space. Because if you strip the campaign from Black Ops, why even call it Black Ops at this point? But if that's not your market and that's not your player base, why do it? Why make that risk? Because if this game comes out and, when is it? October, I said? October 12th. That's 6 months. A lot can change in 6 months. I don't think Battle Royale modes are going to be smaller, but, it might not be the same clamoring for it. I don't know. Let me know what you think. If you could, it's psforums.pressx2alex.com. And as I said, all of the links can be found in the episode description, both on YouTube or the podcast service if you're choosing. So wherever you get the show, you can you can find out what to do. Just follow the doots and the deets and the links. That's it for the news. If you think the battle royale space is getting too crowded, or has the risk of getting too crowded, let me know. I would actually like to talk this out with you. So some new dates for you. Dream Match Tennis VR is coming soon. Battlezone Gold Edition is coming to PS4 and PSVR May 1st, and that will be free for Battlezone owners currently. It'll be a free upgrade. Brawl Out is coming to PS4 this summer. Keep your eye on Brawl Out. I know I tweeted about Brawl Out, and the developer's name escapes me right now, but I think it can kind of satiate the Smash Brothers crowd. It's already out on Switch, so whatever. But I think for the PS4 crowd that may be looking for a Smash Bros type game, it won't be, like a PlayStation All-Stars mascot fighter, but like Juan from Guacamelee in it, so that's cool. But it's very, very Smash Bros. And I think that if you're looking for that in a PS4 game, I think Brawl Out's going to be your bread and butter until we can get our mascot brawler on this console. Oh Sir, the Hollywood Roast is coming to PS4. Didn't have a date, but if you didn't play Oh Sir, the Insult Simulator, then shame on you. It's a fighting game per se. It's all the mechanics of a fighting game, but you fight with insults, and you just have to pair the insults together. I love Oh Sir. There's not a whole lot to do if you're not playing with someone else, and I kind of feel like I can get a little old hat pretty quick, but I'm excited for Oh Sir, the Hollywood Roast. I'll sink some time in that. NBA Playgrounds 2 is coming to PS4 this summer. Space Jacked comes to PS4 and PS Vita. I did not get a date. Disgaea Complete is coming to PS4 fall of 2018. That is a Western release of Disgaea 1. So if you are a Disgaea fan, the original Disgaea will be coming to PS4 fall of 2018. And horror survival game Agony comes to PS4 May 29th. So those are your new dates. But what's coming up this week, I'll tell you. So let's get into the drop for April 24th. Cluster Tumble comes to PS4 Digital. Cluster Tumble is a fast-paced game of skill. Complete over 100 puzzles as the pieces tumble down the screen, rotating and moving them into the correct position. Code 51 Mecha Arena comes to PSVR Digital. 2040 AD. The world continues to deteriorate. Fighting for very limited living resources, World War III has broken out among the major forces. What is the game? That told me nothing. That told me absolutely nothing. It told me the premise. I don't know what the game is. I would love to know, like, is it a mech shooter? It looks like a mech shooter. I mean, Mecha Arena, it sounds like a mech shooter. A VR mech shooter sounds cool. Why not tell me if it is? Cosmic Star Heroine comes to PS Vita, Digital, and cross-buy. Vita lives. I'm looking at you, Jim. 3. Exotic planets to explore. Aliens, robots, magic, forbidden technology, long-lost secrets, conspiracies, a galactic threat. And those are all individual sentences. Hold on. 3 exotic planets to explore. Aliens, robots, magic, forbidden technology, long-lost secrets, conspiracies, a galactic threat, and 1 brave heroine to make things right. Cosmic Star Heroine is an exciting new RPG from the creators of Cthulhu Saves the World. Dead Secret comes to PSVR Digital. Dead Secret is the first-person horror mystery set in rural Kansas, rural juror, in 1965. Who killed Harris Bullard, the rural juror in rural Kansas? A reclusive man with a mysterious past is dead, and it's up to you to crack the case. So Dead Secret was the game I pulled the trophies for last week. There's 5. It's just get all 5 endings. Death Road to Canada comes to PS4 digital out April 25th. Death Road is built for replay value. Everything is randomized. Locations, events, survivor appearances, and personalities. There's a different story every time you play, set in a world that doesn't take itself too seriously. Sounds like my kind of game. I might try it. I might get my hands on that. Death Road to Canada. Mental note. Devious Dungeon comes to PS4 and PS Vita digital cross-buy. Set in the Dark Ages, Devious Dungeon is a medieval-focused action platformer title. Only a true champion will be victorious. Dream Angling comes to PSVR digital out April 26th. This is a story about looking for memories in a dream. By completing a series of angling challenges, players experience the inner feeling of the main character. The art for this game is a swordfish. A very majestic swordfish that arguably could have a blue mohawk. I'm not sure. That might just be how swordfish look. I'm not that familiar with swordfish. But that's Dream Angling. This is a story about looking for memories in a dream. By completing a series of angling challenges, players experience the inner feelings of the main character. Emily Wants to Play 2 comes to PS4 digital. Emily Wants to Play 2 offers tons of fun new survival horror gameplay and strives to creep you out. Jolt Family Robot Racer comes to PS4 digital. Jolt is a fast-paced racing game, and at its core, it's a competitive platformer that's all about maintaining momentum with skillful navigation. Just in Time Incorporated comes to PSVR digital. Just in Time Incorporated is not a regular insurance agency, and you are not a normal agent. With the power of our hyperglove technology, you can move at 10 times the speed of a regular human. MLB Home Run Derby VR comes to PSVR digital out April 26th. Can you crush it in the most immersive and authentic Home Run Derby VR game presented by Major League Baseball? Pick-a-Pix Color comes to PS4 and PS Vita digital cross-buy. Pick-a-Pix are Pick-a-Pix are exciting logic puzzles that form whimsical pixel art pictures. When solved, challenging, deductive, and artistic, this original Japanese invention offers the ultimate mix of logic, art, and fun while providing solvers with many hours of mentally stimulating entertainment. Psychedelica of the Black Butterfly comes to PS Vita digital retail out April 27th. Awakening in a mysterious mansion, her first frantic thoughts are, where am I? And more importantly, who am I? She encounters several young men in the same predicament, trapped in missing their memories. To survive, they must hunt black butterflies and claim kaleidoscope shards from the horrific monsters surrounding them. This is a visual novel. I don't know what it is with visual novels and people losing their memories. I don't get it. Rick and Morty Virtual Reality comes to PSVR retail. So digitally, it came out last week, 2 weeks ago, last week. This week, physical copies, retail copies, get them. Rick and Morty have teleported into your living room for a cutting-edge VR adventure. Solve puzzles, step through portals into strange dimensions, get yelled at by Rick, fight aliens, drink detergent, press buttons, and more. Space Jacked, oh, there we go, comes to PS4 digital out April 26th. Build, shoot, survive invasions by filthy alien scum. Can you, space technician ace Dave Pepperovsky, defend your spaceship against a relentless horde of aliens? Survive Mr. Cube comes to PS4 digital April 26th. Survive Mr. Cube is a roguelite action game with the story of a man called Mr. Cube who has to escape from the unknown world in order to get his life back. The Swords of Ditto comes to PS4 digital. The Swords of Ditto is a compact action RPG that creates a unique adventure for each new hero of legend in the relentless fight against the evil Mormo. I don't know if it's a pre-order bonus, but I know if you get it on PS4, there's some Loco Roco shit tied in there. I think it was Loco Roco. I'm going to double check myself, but it's going to be too late. To Leave comes to PS4 digital. To Leave is a hard game. Every element in To Leave, from its very opening all the way to its conclusion, has been crafted to challenge your skills, your wits, your intuition, and your perceptions. Most importantly, to leave seeks to stir interpretations. Although much will be indecipherable to you from the onset, be assured that everything in this work is deliberate, everything is relevant. So, let me double check this. I'm going to check the Sword Ditto. Loco Roco, I think. I don't want to tell you wrong. I don't have someone come through and fact check me. I got to do this shit myself. Yeah, so Swords of Ditto gets a Loco Roco crossover quest. That was a March 27th article on the PlayStation blog. I thought so. So if you get a Swords of Ditto on PS4, you will get yourself a nice little Loco Roco crossover quest. So if that sounds up your alley, then you should take it. Let's take a look at some new trophies. See if there's anything. Let's get the old PSN profiles up and loaded here. Hope you guys are having a good week. It's a good time to be a gamer. It's a good year. We're already having a great time. Let's see. Pick a Pic's color. Arcade Archives 10-yard fight. Let's see. Let's check Devious Dungeon. Home Run Derby VR. Home Run Derby VR has a platinum. We're going to take a look at that. Let's see. Emily wants to play 2. Is 1 gold, 2 silver, 11 bronze. Swords of Ditto we'll pull up here. Explosion we did last week. Excuse me, by the way, I burped. I did not cover my mouth, nor did I turn my mic down, and I apologize. And we'll pull up Pick a Pic's color. Just Pick a Pic's, what have yous. Let's take a look here. Get these loaded here. So Home Run Derby VR comes jam-packed with what? What are 4 bronze, 9 silver, 7 gold, and 1 platinum. Let's see what we got here. Hit your first home run. It's welcome to the big leagues. Left-hander, play around as a left-handed batter. Right-hander, play around as a right-handed batter. All-star champ, hit 6 home runs in a row. Back to back to back, hit 3 home runs in a row. Rock and roller, hit 25 home runs in Progressive Field. South Beach Swatter, 25 home runs in Marlins Park. Commander-in-Chief, 25 home runs in Nationals Park. Centennial Slugger, hit 100 home runs. Does not say if that's in one round or just, collective. So I don't know. I got 5 on it. Hit 5 bonus targets, 25 bonus targets, 100 bonus targets, earned 50,000 points, 500,000 points. Hit a ball with a 105 mile per hour exit velocity. Hit a ball with 125 mile per hour exit velocity. Hit 10 home runs with a launch angle between 25 and 35 degrees. Hit 20 home runs with a launch angle between 26 and 30 degrees and an exit velocity of 98 plus miles per hour. Hit a home run further than 460 feet. Hit a home run further than 520 feet. So those, I don't know how doable those are. I don't baseball. I like baseball games. I got that platinum for MLB The Show 17. Probably never going to play a baseball game again after that, though. That was a grind. That was a hard pass if I ever do that again. Made me hate myself. Swords of Ditto comes with 4 bronze, 9 silver, 7 gold, and a platinum. Let's take a look. Visit grave. Visit the grave of a failed hero. Find a toy. Find the toy of a legend. Or find a toy of legend. Destroy an anchor. Destroy one of Mormo's anchors. Equip a sticker. Equip a sticker. Defeat all anchors in a story. Defeat all anchors in a story. These are pretty self-explanatory. So it's just a lot of do. A little bit of collecting. Equip 12 limited stickers at a time. Let's see. Fully upgrade your bombs. Defeat Mormo without destroying an anchor. Find all toys. Seems like these anchors are important. Yeah, I don't know. So that's that. And then Pick a Pic's, Pika Pic's, Pika Poops. That is 5 bronze, 13 silver, 6 gold, and a platinum. Let's see. Solve a 5x5 puzzle. Solve a 5x5 puzzle in 15 seconds. 10x10 puzzle. 10x10 in under a minute. Earn a medal for every 50. So nothing too crazy. These are all pretty industry standard puzzling trophies. It looks like. That's your trophy time for this week. Which then that means that's been your episode for this week. Which means this has been the PlayStation Forecast episode 5. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for going on this quest with me as I try to bring you the PlayStation podcast I feel that you deserve. if you want to support me, like I said, this show is entirely self-funded. So the best thing you can do is if you go to iTunes or Apple Podcasts and give me a final ruling on if it's iTunes or Apple Podcasts, that'd be great. But while you're there, if you click all 5 of those stars, leave a review, click subscribe on YouTube, on your podcast service of choice, follow, subscribe, review it, promote it, retweet it, whatever you think is going to spread the word. I do know reviewing it, subscribing, things like that's going to help. Just in the short time I've been doing this, I've noticed as the reviews have come up, the listeners have come up, and that's gonna help me in the long run make the show that not only that I want to make, but that you want to ingest and consume. Because I'm doing this not just for me, and so. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Subscribe to my channel. Like I said, I'm going to hope to get more content up for you all soon, more than just the weekly episodes of the show. Try and churn in a few things here and there as time and life allows. If you listen on iTunes, if you could click the 5 stars and review, subscribe. You can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/pressxtoalex. And you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/pressxtoalex. Pretty much press X to Alex. Anywhere you'll find me. Thank you again. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you get some more God of War time in. If you think there's too many Battle Royale games, psforums.pressxtoalex.com. I would love to talk to you about this further. But until next week, you all have a great night.